Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and this impromptu video is kind of like a combination of both a hobby side video as well as a cheap shot video. And the reason why is because of Necromunda the Ash Wastes. For those of you guys who are into Necromunda, as you probably already know, Necromunda Ash Waste is available for pre-order up on Games Workshop this weekend. And I believe it drops in the first week of May, I believe, is when that game actually drops. And of course, the prices for these items have actually came out online. And so as you can imagine, a lot of people are really concerned because of the pretty high, pretty steep cost of entry in order to play Necromunda Ash Wastes. For the United States, I believe it's around $300 for the starter set here in the United States. I believe it's 230 euros, I believe, for the international community, as well as 185 British pounds sterling for the folks back in England. So because of that, it's a pretty steep product for the most part. It's very, very expensive, especially for people who are brand new to the hobby as well. Now, granted, there's a lot of cool stuff inside that box set. You get 2 full gangs of Orlok with those 2 quad vehicles that they have. At the same time, you also get a brand new Ash Waste Nomad gang, which is really cool as well as 4 of their Dustback Helamites, which are the little insectoid things that the mounts that the Ash Waste guys ride on. And you also get a terrain. You get like a little Ash Waste Nomad village. You also get like a gaming mat. You get the rules, the new dice for vehicles, as well as the rules pack and templates and things. So you are getting quite a lot in that box set, but the price is like one of the main issues for a lot of people. And for those people who are really worried about the price of entry as well, this video is kind of dedicated to you guys, to kind of show you guys how you can go about making some pretty cheap vehicles that look amazing but on the tabletop, and at the same time save you a bunch of money to do so. From my understanding, I believe it's around $47 for the box sets involved for the Orlok quad bikes that are coming out, as well as for the box of 4 Dustback Helamites for the Ash Waste Nomads. So, you know, kind of pricey, but you know, at the same time though, that's what we kind of expect from Games Workshop. So, and plus we got that new Cargo Ridge hauler that's coming out too as well. That's coming out here pretty soon. That, you know, that's going to cost a pretty penny as well. Now, luckily for me and my gaming group, we've actually been playing We've been playing Necromunda Ash Waste for a while now. About a couple of years ago, my friends and I saw Mad Max Fury Road, and we were really excited about doing something like that, but went with Necromunda instead. At the time, there were no official rules written for it, really. So because of that, I basically wrote a 60-page document for our Anarchy Road campaign, and my friends and I decided to play that. And we've been playing that campaign for about a year now, almost a year and a half actually. So because of that, when the news dropped of the Ash Waste coming out officially for Necromunda, my friends and I were actually pretty much ahead of the power curve. Because as you can see on this tabletop, we had a bunch of vehicles that we've already made for that gaming system. And so because of that, we were pretty much ahead of the curve on that part. We also have a lot of terrain that Iron Major makes for us on this channel as well. We played on an awesome 4 foot by 6 foot gaming mat that we have for the Ash Waste. So we're all ready to go. All we needed was just the rules for the most part. And I was actually interested in actually getting the starter box set myself, just to see what kind of, you know, purchase it for myself to play and to paint and stuff. But then I saw the price and I was like, ugh, a little too steep. So for those of you guys who are concerned about that, this video is dedicated to you guys. So as you can see here, these are the vehicles. Actually, these are actually most of the vehicles that we actually use in our Ash Waste campaign. And as you can see, we have a bunch of converted vehicles that we've built and we actually use in our games of Necromunda, in our games of Anarchy Road, which is our Necromunda Ash Waste campaign. So as you can see, we have quite a bit of stuff here. And actually, these items were actually quite inexpensive, all things considered. And just with a little bit of creativity, some work and effort, and some conversion work, we're able to make some pretty cool looking vehicles that we use in our campaign setting. So the purpose of this video actually is to show you guys the vehicles and to kind of showcase you what we have so far. At the same time, show you guys how to save money on that whole process as well. So the first thing we're actually going to do real quick is talk about, basically we have 3 categories of vehicles that we have. We basically have scaled miniatures. So these are actually miniatures from military vehicles, from model kits that you can buy. So that's one of our first categories. Second category would probably be toys that you can buy from Walmart and big box stores like Walmart, or from grocery stores, Target, even Walgreens in some situations. And then of course we also have some military vehicle toys that you could also purchase from Amazon, and that's actually where half the fleet came from, is actually from Amazon as well. So we'll go through each of these 3 different types and talk about what you guys can expect to pay you know, where you can find these things, etc., and talk about how we went about going ahead and converting all these things. So that being said, let's get this video on a roll. All right, so the first group of vehicles we're going to talk about are the scaled miniatures, the military miniatures. And as you can see here, we actually have quite a few of them. To be honest with you guys, I'm just going to tell you straight up, I actually got these at a garage sale is where I actually got these at. There was a garage sale going on in my local neighborhood, so I went to go check it out because I saw some little like boxes of miniatures. And I guess the guy who owned the place was really into making tank and military miniatures because he had a bunch of them for sale. And at the same time, he also had boxes that were partially used, I would say. These boxes were actually really old, like from the 1980s for the most part, so they're missing a lot of pieces and stuff. And I was able to buy these for basically $5 per miniature, basically, as you see here on the table, just because they were all kind of partially used and it was a pretty good deal. Just to let you guys know, these vehicles are a collection of 1:32 and 1:35 scale for these vehicles. That's basically the type of scale that you have for your miniatures. Some of these are Tamiya products. I think two of them are actually from Tamiya. I believe the other ones are actually from a British company, actually. I forgot the name of the box that I got these from. But you can actually find these for a pretty good price, actually. So if you're worried about spending too much money on vehicles, like vehicles that cost $50 or more, like vehicles from Warhammer 40K, or from whatever future vehicles that they actually end up making for Necromunda, you can actually get these for a pretty good price. You can actually get these miniatures from places like Hobby Lobby, for example, anywhere between the $25 to $35 range. So they are still kind of pricey, but they're not as expensive as $50+ for vehicles that you can get as well. If you go on Amazon, you could probably find a couple for even cheaper. So let's go ahead and talk about that real quick. So you can see this one here. This one's actually an armored car that was from a German World War II armored car. And same thing with this vehicle here, right here. And I just basically did some conversion work, just real simple stuff. For example, these gas cans and tools that you guys see are from different miniature products. I believe these gas cans actually came with this particular miniature, I believe. Like some of these are actually from the Orc Mech Boy shop. I was able to get a couple of bits from that to use in our games. I got that from my local game store. Same thing with like this tool right here in the front. Same thing, this rack of tools right over here as well. These large wrenches and things on the top of it. This is a vehicle that my buddy Dark Lord Mac uses for his Pit Slay gang. And as you can see here, we have our little boomsticks here. From those of you who might have seen Mad Max Fury Road, that movie has these awesome like harpoons that the war boys actually throw. They have like explosive charges at the tip, and they throw them. And we call them thunder sticks in our campaign setting. So because you can see that we kind of decorated the outside of these things with thunder sticks, you can see we had Mad Max Fury Road had a huge role to play in the aesthetic that we have. So how I painted this up was pretty simple. All I did is I just used some spray paint to create the major coat that I wanted to, and I just used a bunch of cheap craft paint in order to paint this up. So you can see right here in the bottom, you can see the spray painting that I actually did and the parts that I painted and didn't paint for this miniature. And it was pretty quick and pretty easy and pretty simple to do at the same time. So if I had to say, like I said, I bought all these vehicles for $5 a piece, maybe $5, $10, $15 maybe. I would say with the max I put into this, just putting things from my bit box, you know, converting it, making it looking really, really awesome as well. This vehicle here is also another German armored car vehicle as well. And this one's also been really proxy heavy as well. You can see this one. This is used for our Chaos Cultist gang. This one's actually a demonically possessed vehicle for our Slanesh themed Chaos Cult. And as you can see, it's a simple thing. And if you wonder where these spikes came from, these are actually old pieces of sprue. If you look really close, you can see the model number that was from the Games Workshop sprue. I had a bunch of sprue that I cut up and I just put them on the outside of the vehicle to make spikes. I also used some pipes and stuff from like, I believe it's called Promethean Forge, I think is what it was called, from 440K. I was able to get some of these parts from a guy who was getting rid of some of his kill team terrain. So I was able to get some of that to use that for this. Same thing, that's a servo mounted claw from one of the servo haulers. This is like a missile launcher pad from somewhere. I'm not sure where I got that from. But as you can see, I just kind of cobbled this together. Just kind of glued it nilly-willy for the most part. See, these are just super glued into place, it's all. And then I just proceeded to just paint it up with different types of cheap craft paint that I had in order to do that. For the metallics, it's really, really simple. I just spray paint the pieces like these pipes and the servo arm, which is black spray paint, just dry brush with different colors of metallic paint to create that one. This one, I believe this is a hull of a Leopard, I believe. I'm not really exactly sure. I believe this is the 135 scale vehicle. I think this one's a 135. I think that one back there is a 135. I believe this is a 132 over here, if I double check. But same thing. So like, this is really cheap. Just use sprue to make the little spikes on it. And you know, the kill team terrain that you guys see, that's actually a base, a 32mm base, like that I got from, to put out there to stand up the guys to stand up on, so that way they can mount the turret on top of this thing. This vehicle is used by my little sister, the kiddo. If you wonder how I made these thunder sticks, it's just basically just floral wire with some green stuff to make the warheads. This is really, really basic type of conversion. This one back here is an Abrams tank. As you can see, I just got the claws from like a mech boy shop. Put the little icon on the back with the engine because it looks very suitable, like Mad Maxy looking. Put a claw on the turret to make it look like it runs around and just picks up stuff and destroys things. Same thing with this one back here. I forgot what tank chassis this is actually from. The same concept. Took a servo hauler crane from one of the pieces of Kill Team terrain I was able to get. Put in the back of this tank here with some spikes. If you notice, some of the wheels and the tracks are missing on some of these vehicles, because like I said, I got these used, so they were partially completed. And the nice thing about this, actually, I could actually use it for a cargo haul if I want to. I could actually put this tank and connect that tank in the back, and then probably put that one in the very back, and I could actually make a trained cargo hauler if I wanted to at the same time. So as you can see, it's just really simple, just spray paint for the most part for most of the vehicles. Just dry brushing for a lot using some homemade wash made from Minwax poly shades to kind of create this whole effect. The spikes and spines are made from spent pieces of plastic as well as from sprue. And just get really creative with it and just try to create the most craziest, zaniest looking vehicles you could. And so this is an example of something like a really cheap alternative that you guys can use. So if you're really worried about the price of entry, you could just like, maybe I'm hoping that they actually have generic rules for vehicles in the Ashways rulebook. If they do, then this is gonna be really simple for you guys. You could just buy some models like this and just convert the heck out of it, bits and bobs, and make it look really cool. And the nice thing about it is that it takes place in the Ashways. So there is no right or wrong way to convert your vehicles. You can make them look like anything you really want to, really. You could be as, you know, as advanced as this, or be as real basic as just painting up toys. And that's the next thing we're gonna talk about actually here. We're actually talking about some Walmart toys that I use to create some of these vehicles. So yeah, real simple way of making some simple, awesome looking vehicles using some cheap scaled miniatures from military miniatures. All right, so the second category of vehicles that we have here on our channel are actually toys from Walmart. I got these from Walmart, the dollar store, as well as Walgreens is actually where I got these vehicles from. And the reason why I got this is because they're just kind of basic looking vehicles, and I thought they'd be kind of cool to use in the Ashways. So originally we used them as set pieces in Necromunda, our normal Under Eye Wars battle report series that we used to do for a campaign. But then I decided to paint these up for some of our, you know, they could work just as well for the Ashways as well. So these toys are actually really just basic. One of the things that is really tricky about buying toy cars, you gotta make sure you got the scale in order to paint up your miniatures. So my suggestion to you is to always just take a miniature with you. Just like one simple unpainted miniature would be actually really cool. Just bring it with you. That way you can do things like compare it to like the size of the doors and stuff, so that way you can see if it's gonna work out or not. So like this one, for example, is actually an ambulance toy. I think I got this at the dollar store. No, I'm sorry. I got this at Walgreens. That's where I got it from. I got it from Walgreens for like $5. Just did a really quick paint job, put a quick oil wash on it as well, make it look really dirty and grimy. Just did a real basic paint job. We've been using these as like cargo haulers for like zombies from the Scavy gang that's in our campaign. We also use it as a cargo vehicle for the guilds that we have because we didn't know about the ridge haulers yet. So this is what we were using for the most part. This like looking, I believe this is a Caddy, I think it's a Cadillac, I believe is what this one is. This toy is actually just from my local grocery store. I saw it, I thought it looked really cool, got it for like $5, thought it'd be kind of neat to paint up to use for our Gene Stealer cults, and it looks really, really awesome there. This one actually right here is a Hot Wheels toy. In fact, if you guys look really close, you can actually see the Hot Wheels emblem on it. So I thought it looked really cool. And these two vehicles are just two Sheriff's Department toys that I saw at Walmart. Got those for like $5 a piece. So really, really simple. So if you're not really into conversion work and you're just looking for just generic vehicles to use, you can easily use this as well. After all, I'm pretty sure there'll be rules in Necromunda where you can have your gang members actually like, you know, do drive-bys and shoot out the windows and stuff like that. Just because that's what people do in real life. So I imagine they would do that in the Ashways as well. You know, you might not be able to afford weaponry yet for your vehicles, but you can, you know, do that. And if you want to, you can make it really simple. You can easily jazz up these vehicles by things like I did with this one here. Just did some weapons off of some sprues and just, you know, just glue it real quick to the vehicle. You can make it really, really basic or as advanced as you want to. Because I'm pretty sure when you start off in your very first campaign, you're not going to have any access to a lot of weapons and stuff like that to use in your vehicles. So this will be just perfectly fine to use as well. And of course you can just upgrade them as time goes on. These two vehicles, for example, this SUV and this SUV back here, are actually used by my friend Sister Serial, who plays the main force patrol, which is the Enforcers. So these are their vehicles, which kind of makes sense because these supposed to be like vehicles that like police officers would drive, you know, in the desert or whatever the case may be. So this is the second example I was talking about, some really cheap toys you can paint up real quick, just give a really quick paint job, make it look really neat, and you can still use this in your games. Very, very effective, very cost effective as well, very cheap to field. At the same time, you can use them for pretty much anything you want, both as terrain and scatter terrain, or even as vehicles if you want to. So now that we're done talking about the toys that we got from Walmart, as well as from the miniatures kits that we have over there, the last thing we do now is talk about these toys here, which are a little bit more in-depth looking. And we got these from Amazon. So let's go ahead and talk about those. All right, so the last set of things we're gonna talk about real quick are the toys that we got from Amazon. So these are Amazon specials. Basically, these are a combination of scaled World War II type vehicles, assault craft, naval assault craft, marine assault craft from World War II as well, some deuce and a half toys, and these fictitious recon armored cars that we also use as well. And these toys are actually all very cost effective as well. In fact, I'll actually put, I'll probably put links to Amazon down in my description box below, so that way you guys can find these for yourselves. So those of you guys who've been watching our Anarchy Road series, these vehicles are very, very familiar to you. So let's go and talk about this. So first of all, these toys actually come from two companies. One's called BMC, the other one is called Timey Toys, is what they're called. So we're gonna talk about that real quick. So this vehicle here, for example, this is from BMC. This is the name of the company. And it's just plastic, just hard plastic is all it is. In fact, if you look here on the bottom, this is actually what the plastic made it look like. It was actually just a gray toy. And what I did is I just spray painted it real quick to paint the hull up and then add the hazard stripes to it. Oh, I'll just glue this right back in. As you can see, we made thunder sticks real quick, just drill some holes with the pin vise to make the thunder sticks that go inside of it. This one's kind of cool because it comes with machine guns on the pintle mounts over here as well. And at the same time, also threw some skulls on there just to make it look more Mad Max inspired, I suppose. But this is the vehicle that's been used by the Goliaths until it was stolen by the Cotter, who stole that vehicle from them. As you see, it's got exactly the same toy in the background here, we're painting red. And the nice thing about these guys is that we could actually use these for cargo haulers if you wanted to, because they just kind of look like a huge land train. So you can put like 4 of these together to make one huge train. Now, the nice thing about these toys is that they're actually pretty inexpensive as well. This kit right here usually retails for about $15 on Amazon. When I bought these two toys though, I bought them around Christmas time of 2021. And so because that Amazon was having a huge sale on toys, online, so they're all about 50% off of the toys. I got these for about $7, $8 a piece at the time that I got them. Normally they're about 15, but around Christmas time they're actually cheaper. So for those of you guys who are actually looking to save even more money, I would wait around Christmas time for you to make those purchases. But if you're not that patient or you want to get them now, $15 is not bad. Don't get me wrong, $15 is still kind of pricey, but when you compare that to 60, 70, 80, $100+ for vehicles, that's not really all that bad. And just some real quick, simple conversion work will just do wonders for it, make it look really, really awesome as well. Now these vehicles over here, these are Higgins boats, is what actually these are. These are actually World War II Higgins boats. In fact, if you look them over here, they're just boats actually. In real life, these would be boats. But these were cool because these actually came with wheels. So because of that, my little sister Shay thought it'd be cool to actually use these for her vehicles because she liked the fact that they had these open front cargo areas that you can store guys in. At the same time, you have like little assault ramps here. Oh, can I open it with one hand? I cannot, but that's okay. This actually pops open and it actually drops. You have little turrets back here. And oddly enough, the seating back here actually fits a 28mm scale miniature. So actually kind of works out. Put some boomsticks on there well, put some of these things in bright pink so that way they matches their gang colors. So we could put anywhere between 4 to 5 miniatures on these vehicles, for example. You know, and this one actually is really cool because it costs $10 online and it comes with 4. So just like that, you could really easily outfit your entire gang with these kind of vehicles as well. Now, granted, they look kind of cheesy, they look like boats, but you know, basically what you're doing is looking at the price, and then from there you're backing into what you're looking for from the price as well. Now back over here, these are some more toys by BMC. I'm actually working on these now. These are actually 2.5 ton trucks, cargo trucks. See, just really, really simple toys made out of plastic. Real simple. This one actually, it comes in a 2-pack. I believe they cost $10 for 2. I believe is what I got those for. So once again, just really, really simple. You could actually have and yes, that little canvas top you see there, that does come off. As you can see, I got the flatbed truck here. So it's kind of cool. You can run it as a vehicle with a canvas top, or you can run it as just a flatbed truck if you want to as well. And you can convert it with additional things on top of it, like cannons, guns, spikes if you want to, or you could just leave it as plain as you want as well. In fact, I'm using the canvas on the back of the teal one. I'm using that to actually make a tent, like a yurt looking type of thing that Ash Nomads would use in the wastes, I would have you believe. So that's what I'm using for those. And at the same time, you can put guys in the back to, to fight and stuff. So like this is like $5 a piece, $10 for both of them. So you really can't beat that price too badly. So it looks really, really awesome, and you can use those as an alternative. Now these vehicles here, these are the ones that a lot of people have been really hyped about on these vehicles. Now these ones are from another company called Timey Toys. That's the name of the company that makes these. According to Iron Major, he says these were actually based on experimental armored cars, reconnaissance cars that the United States Army was actually toying around with in the 1970s. I believe what he said is what these were. I don't know if I got that quote correctly or not, but he said that's what they remind him of from back in the day. So that's what these are, and these are Timey Toys. If you see these, they're really, really cheap. They're just, nothing inside of them, just simple wheeler wheels. They got this nice little turret with a gun on top that can turn as well. This one's actually the Steel Dragon that's used by our Neon Knights, our Vansar gang. So we use like this kind of like synthwave kind of paint design using gradient colors on this one to make it look all sci-fi and purplish. Just use some really simple wash on that one as well. And these look really, really cool because these are actually, we consider these to be medium to large haul type vehicles because yes, they have one access door in the back, but they also got a little ramp in the back. So you could easily hold, you can imagine it holds about 6, maybe 8 guys if you kind of cram them in there. For those of you guys who play Imperial Guards, I mean, if I was to play 40K, if I played Imperial Guard, I would use these because these cost like $15 for 2. So like these two came into a pack together. So they're about $7 a piece. They're about the same size and scale as a Torox with troop transport. So I would run these as Toroxes if I got a chance to do so. And that's what I would do to save money for myself. And they look really awesome. You can just paint them up and make them look cool. Like this one here, the Pulchritudinous, which is a vehicle used by our Hellot Chaos Cult. We jazz this up by adding spikes to it as well as a skull in the front to make it look more chaosy as well. Now, if you wonder what these spikes are, I'm gonna flip this over and show you guys. It's actually kind of hilarious. So I'm gonna flip it over real fast. If you can see, they're basically, you can see the bottoms over here. They're just tines from a plastic fork is all they are. I just took some plastic forks, cut off the tines real quick, took a pin vise and drilled a hole and stuck it through it. I've actually, hold up. First of all, I drilled the hole and then I covered the tine in super glue and then I just forced it through the hole until it wouldn't go any further and just left it like that. And that's how I made all these little spikes on here as well. This was very much inspired by the buzzards from Mad Max Fury Road. Those vehicles are covered in spikes. And so we did exactly the same thing here. We just painted them all kinds of crazy colors to make them look all, suitably Mad Maxy and crazy looking for a Chaos Cult. So we did the same thing for the turret up here and put it on the side of the walls here to make it look really terrifying. And I pushed the tines into different depths so that way they look like erratic looking spikes. And it looks absolutely fantastic. You can just do a quick paint job on it and we're ready to roll with this vehicle. Now I actually have another 2 vehicles. Actually, I can't find the other one. I think the other one's in my bits box. But I actually bought another set because these look so cool. And I use this from my Orlok gang. So this is going to be the Rumblers, what's going to be called. And this is the vehicle I'm using. So this is right in the front with a skull. Yeah, I know my free-hand is horrible, but I just like the way it looked, just real simple. I put some iron sight type symbols on there to represent the jury on there. I also wrote some graffiti on there like boo and then like hashtag, tick marks, tally marks to represent the number of kills they have. By and high like that, and just painted up in the teal color. I might get into a little Suicide Squad looking frowny face on it. So yeah, just real simple stuff like that. The reason we've wondered with the whole thing with this whole Raider thing, it's supposed to be like an homage to the Gunner emblem that's used in Fallout 4, for example. I was gonna put Gunner on there, but then I realized I couldn't fit the word Gunner, so I used the word Raider instead because for a reason I could fit it on there. So yeah. And this once again goes back to like the complexity of the paint jobs that you can go with and the complexity of the conversions you go with, or you can just leave it really simple if you really want to as well. There is no right or wrong answer to vehicle conversions in the world of Necromunda Ash Wastes. You can make your vehicles as complicated and complex and as much conversion as you possibly want, or you can leave it as basic if you want to. It's just kind of up to you. And that's the nice thing about the Wasteland on this one. So here you guys go. This is exactly what our vehicles look like for our channel. This is what we use for Ash Waste on series Anarchy Road. And this is pretty much how we went about converting a lot of these things and just paying them up for the most part. All right, you guys. So there you have it. That's pretty much the fleet of vehicles that we use for our Anarchy Road series for our Necromunda Ashwaites battle reports. Now, of course, the official rules are dropping here. Like I said, the beginning of May, we can start expecting seeing those official rules coming out. So unfortunately for my gaming group and I, that means our campaign now is not official, which is kind of sad. But at the same time, though, it was a lot of fun playing it. We learned a lot, and we had a lot of fun doing it at the same time. So we're probably going to cut our campaign early a little bit so that way we can start using the new rules and start using that in our battle reports as well. But, you know, still be on that part. That's the way things kind of go. Now, of course, right now, the pre-order right now is just for the box set as well as for the starting gangs for so far. Technically speaking, the only thing I actually need are two things. I need the rulebook as well as the vehicle dice that they have. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't look like the rulebook or the vehicle dice are available for pre-order right now. So I am kind of sad about that part. So I'll just have to wait because eventually I think they will release those two products individually. At least I hope so, fingers crossed. Because they didn't do that with Dark Uprising. They didn't put those campaign rules out. So that was kind of sad. But that's okay though. That's what the Necromunda comprehensive rules are for, which you can download for free on a PDF online. But that's where I got my Dark Uprising rules from. But hopefully they'll do that with Ashwaites, so that way I don't have to buy a whole new starter box. But even if they don't release the rulebook, even if they don't release the dice individually, that's not a big deal. For two very important reasons. One, the vehicle dice are just normal D6s. So if all else fails, I'll just ask someone online who actually uses the actual dice, ask them what sides those symbols are and what they mean, and I'll just roll a D6 and just compare it to a chart. I mean, we've been playing war games since the beginning of time, basically, almost, and so we're used to looking at consulting chart trying to figure that out. At the same time, with the rules as well, if those rules are not available for individual sale, that would be kind of sad. But at the same time, though, the internet also exists. And you know people are going to be talking about the rules. People are going to be talking about the rules all the time on the internet. They'll be talking videos about it on YouTube. People actually talk about them on their websites. Some people might even put out, you know, free ones for you to download. So, you know, that's not a game-ending thing if I can't get that, because I'll just, you know, be the cheapskate in me and talk to people who actually either roll the rules or borrow the rules or just, you know, pay attention to what's being said online and, you know, adjust accordingly. So that's the thing you need to remember. So I know a lot of people are really upset about the price hike and stuff, but, you know, it's also Games Workshop. I mean, this is what they do. They increase prices because, you know, they want to make money. And you really can't blame them. I mean, they make really cool products. And they make a really good lore system, and they're going to charge you a penny for it because they, you know, they want to stay in business, and that's perfectly understandable. But with that being said, there are other alternatives to their products, and you can actually do that yourself and make your own version and use the cheapskate way to do so. Now, I know many of you may not have those kind of vehicles already made like this, like I have here. That's perfectly understandable. If you play Warhammer 40k, you actually might have plenty of vehicles available to you, actually, because if you play like Imperial Guard, for example, or Gene Stealer Cults, or even Space Marines, you could proxy those vehicles really, really easily. So I know a lot of people don't like using proxies on battlefields, but, you know, when needs be, especially the way the economy is right now, sometimes you just got to use the power of imagination, because the pocketbook can't reflect what you really want to get. And there is nothing wrong with that. In fact, I gotta give a shout out to another YouTuber named Crimson Oracle. Crimson Oracle actually did a wonderful video talking about not losing your cool over this and staying calm and, you know, adjusting accordingly. And in fact, Crimson Oracle is also one of the other guys that inspired me to do this. The guy who actually really inspired me to do this video actually is one of my viewers named Mr. M. So Mr. M, if you're out there and you're watching this video, thank you for your suggestion making this, buddy. This one's dedicated to you, as well as to Crimson Oracle, who actually did a wonderful video about, you know, staying calm in the time of Necromunda the Ashwaites. So that's good news for you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest, greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good news for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.